Christmas. I didn't hear anything. So of course my boyfriend and I figured that he must have like gone home for Christmas or traveled or something. I don't believe that he was here. If he was here, then he was being completely silent. But yeah, those 2 weeks were so nice. He was not making any sort of ruckus. It was like the perfect little Christmas miracle. open on both ends, but like closed over top and around them, you know, like a little tunnel. So I made him a little tunnel under my bed that he could sleep in, and of course the fireball goes off, and where's Binky? Binky's under the bed, of course. So I'm trying to lure him out from under the bed, and you know, he came out to me. He did come out to me, but I couldn't get him into the carrying case. And then I'm thinking, listen, this is probably another false alarm, because it's literally been like 6 false alarms in 1 year. And it's -20. It's the middle of the night, of course. It's always at nighttime. Let's just go see what's going on, because I don't want to have to bring him outside, make him hear the super loud fire alarm, and go out in the -25 for literally no reason. You know, I don't want to have to do that to him. Rabbits are easily stressed animals. I don't want to stress him out for literally no reason. After it was like about a minute of trying to get him into the little carrying case, I was like, let's just go see what's going on, because I'm not going to bring him out there for nothing. So we make it to the lobby, and everyone's just kind of standing around looking at each other, of course, not really knowing what's going on. And then this woman comes down into the lobby, and she's like huffing and puffing, and like she wasn't having it. She is annoyed, and of course I totally get it. We're all annoyed because this keeps happening. So she's basically like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening again. This is because people keep smoking cigarettes in the staircases. And I was like, is that why the alarm keeps